Mm. All right, we are live. Hello there, everyone. Live here. Let me go to my page. I'm looking for something specific. There we go. Here we go. That will make things a little easier for us because this particular subject, I understood more empathically before I really went and did the research on this. Okay. And I'm actually going to go live on Facebook too. And we're going to get started, guys. So just bear with me for like 2 seconds. Usually I have this like set up already, but I don't know. But really, literally before this, literally before this, I was just meditating. I do like to meditate like every morning. Sometimes I spend like yesterday, I spent most of the day just in meditation. Now, I did a blog post on this, and that's what I was looking for, just so I could keep myself grounded in that information, you know. So let's get started. I don't like this here. Let me try this. Let's see how this works. I don't even know how that looks, honestly. Let's see. I'll stop it. Nope, I don't like it either place, so it could just stay where it's at. Cool. So ruling from the egg is something that I had a term that I had come across a while back, and just before we even get started for real, I do have the hey Dennis, I do have the Soul Work Masterclass starting soon, and I'll be putting out more information on that soon. I have the second cycle, and if anybody needs a cord cutting, a reading, anything like that, hey, what's up? How are you? Just hit me up. And, if you have anything you really want to learn about, any way that you really want to heal right now, I'm definitely ready. I took some time to myself just to get more balanced again. And I feel really good now. I think that a lot of people were going through a lot of changes at this time. And the changes are natural. They're normal for us. Every time you're going through something, you're about to level up spiritually, emotionally, physically, perhaps. Anyway, in one way or another, or in all dimensions of your life, you could be leveling up. So it's really important not to judge yourself and to judge your process. Okay, so those are my little announcements. Now let's get into this work. So, ruling from the egg was a term that I heard a while back. Actually, it's an occult term. Very difficult to find information on it. You would actually need books to understand that term. You would need books just to know that term actually even exists. So when we start on this, we start with the cosmic egg, which is probably why people probably looked at my blog post like this is not provocative, but I wasn't trying to be provocative. I was giving people real information. Many ancient cultures use an egg as sort of a metaphor for the macro microcosm. The very very core, the very very center of the egg is what we can characterize as the soul, and everything. And then there's a cosmic sun, and then they use the yolks around the egg and stuff to represent different dimensions and things of that nature. And the shell would sort of be the physical world. So if you're staying centered in your beingness, if you're staying if you're staying grounded in that which you truly are, and or where you want to be, because most everybody is coming or emanating from one point, one source, the void, chaos, pure potentiality, the place where all possibilities exist, which is why when we go into our own void, and when we go into our own we're in our own flow, you'll have so many creative ideas begin to come to you, because you are in this space where pure potentiality exists. Now, what you do with those ideas and how you manifest them into the world, that's going to be totally predicated upon you and upon the kind of work that you want to put in, because you can have all the beautiful ideas in the world, but if you can't figure out how to get funding for some of those ideas, if you can't figure out how you could shoot something in a way to where it could be relatable with people, if you can't figure out how you could level up so that you can execute on something in a more holistic and grounded way, then you know the idea is going to go to someone else typically. And the more you are really centered in what we call source, what we call the divine, what we call the great mother, what we call the triple goddess, the blackness, the darkness. You know what I mean? Just the void. The more you can get into that and stay centered in that, and then emanate forth as one or as self with that connection, um, the more you'll be able to really figure out where you want to go, what you want to do, what would be most satisfying for you, because you're a unique expression of the divine experiencing itself. And I've always felt like it's actually way more loving than just that, because we look at ourselves as the divine expressing itself, but I think that is deeper than that. I think that sometimes you need two, the number two, or you need another one to show you who you are and to act as a mirror so you can truly see your uniqueness. And this is this what we have innate within ourselves, the divine has innate within itself, where it wants someone else to hold up a mirror and be like, it had to separate from itself so it could hold up the mirror to itself and actually see what it is. So it's we are that is us. And just in the ways that you'll never fully understand the magnitude of your everythingness, source is striving for, but will never understand the magnitude of its everythingness. And that sort of is the journey that brings the joy, that brings the connection, that brings the expansion. And sometimes we will expand and then we'll contract or come in because we want to go into our inner world to understand that which we've been experiencing. When you never go into your inner world, you can't really make sense out of what you're experiencing, why, and do you still, and make even the decision of, do I still want to experience this, or would I like to experience something else? Okay. So the cosmic egg is a very, very ancient, and it's funny because nobody really talks about the cosmic egg anymore. Nobody really takes the time to understand why would a why would an ancient culture choose to use an egg to represent, what they're looking to convey. What's the point in all that? And it's just because it's such a great multi-dimensional thing, where multi-dimensional symbol where everything is interconnected, and where you still have that representation of source within you, the black dot. When we look at the occult symbol, the circle with a dot in the middle, That circle is like self, and that dot is source. Um, so that's why this is such, and it will represent the yin and the yang energy. It's just it's a great symbol. Um, there was something that I wanted to touch on. Okay, so outside of sort of source, they call it the great central sun inside the egg, right? So that's an interesting term. And in my post, I sort of went into how the in my post I went into how the sun, how we actually produce gamma waves as the sun produces gamma rays. And that's the highest frequency of light. And light and sound really are pretty much the same, but just expressing themselves differently. Um, because I'm vibrating to produce sound. I mean, light has a vibration, but it's not vibrating so much as it's just sort of shooting forward, and it's expressing as form or as light. But you can't touch light, isn't that? That's just a side note. But for sound, I need to actually vibrate the sound. I need two things to rub together. I actually need friction to produce sound. Um, so so the whole thing is that within this cosmic egg, we also have the concept of sun, or of the sun being within you, not the sun being outside of you. So the sun is truly within you. And I know I saw a video where they had done this study on these, meditators from like Tibet. And what they found was that these individuals produce gamma waves at an abnormal rate. And that when they meditate, the gamma waves actually, they start to fire off. Their brain produces them at an even higher rate. Sometimes I think it was like 3,000% more than just their regular. I mean, talk about being in the flow and being tapped in. That's crazy. So they're producing this at a higher rate. So what's going on with that is that, like, you are the sun. And then I remember listening to some Dr. Delbert Blair lectures where he was like, where is the sun? And if the sun is so hot, then why is space cold? And that had me thinking. And I know that when they go into space, they're like, oh, this vast darkness, this vast blackness, like, where is the sun? Nobody could find the sun truly. So as I think about that, that made me realize that really we are the sun. Our collective inner suns are projecting out and creating, because you can't have something outside of you that is not inside of you. It's just not, that's not how it works. That's why this is a beautiful symbol, because it's the macro and the microcosm. Um so and those are the gamma. Now before gamma, there's theta, which is what we produce as children, usually age 1 to 7, in order to take in and learn. And while that's a good state to be in, especially for creativity, when you're producing the theta waves, you're very, very open and susceptible to programming. So while you can get creative, but if I'm just sitting here taking everything in, I'm accepting, sort of like being in a movie theater, honestly, where you want to be told a lie. You want to be tricked. You want to know, you don't want to know what the truth is. When you're in a movie theater, nobody wants to know the truth in a movie theater. So that would really be more of a theta wave state form. All right, so let me go into this just a little bit deeper. Sometimes it's hard for me to like articulate, only because I'm just like that. Like some stuff is just in my head and I'm like, oh, this is great. Oh yeah, this is actually a good one too. Um, so now that we're understanding how we create our reality, and it's crazy too, because even when you look at the cosmic egg, everything is still coming from one point, but all these things, all these realities, all these universes that are intersecting within it as well. By the way, they have multiple realities that exist in the yolk of that, in the white part, and it's going around the center and is actually intersecting. This is more of an alchemical symbol that I had used in the article, but it sort of brings that all together. And so like how sometimes you'll have deja vu, or sometimes you'll have a past life memory that you're like, how do I remember, like, why do I feel like I know I've been here before? I know, which is deja vu, but or why do I remember this differently? I've actually had that happen to me a couple times where I know that I shifted my reality or I changed my reality because I would have an event, something very slight, like I would recall an event like I had an argument. And then when it actually happens, I'm like, last time this happened, I had an argument. I remember clearly having an argument, but this conversation went way smoother. So that's how you know you shifted your vibration and shifted your reality. Crazy shit. uh it's just crazy, like these little things that we don't notice as beings that is happening all the time. And that's just the nature of reality. It's completely natural for it to happen, honestly. Now, I'll go into squaring the circle in a second because we're on the cosmic egg and the concept of ruin from the egg. I just want to reiterate um, how first off, I want to say not to get so caught up in the endlessness of creation, but rather to focus on the journey of it all. Because the reason why I typically will focus on the numbers 0 through 9 is because they're the basis of everything in reality that currently exists. But I don't focus on 11 as much, or 12, or the 24s, or whatever, even though those are important numbers as well, only because numbers are endless. Numbers are always going to be endless. And just as numbers are endless, creation is endless. So if we get caught up in the endlessness, we feel sort of like we don't matter and like we're lost in a sea or a void of endlessness. And that's not correct. You do matter, and the point is that all the creation is emanating through you. It's emanating through you, through your soul, things, concepts, ideas. It's supposed to be a play. You're supposed to, it doesn't matter whether you're on Earth, whether you're in the stars, or wherever you choose to be. Oh,